Good morning. I love the way the little spinny thing goes around and you never quite know when the live starts or when it doesn't. It's sort of kind of fun. But today is day one of our LinkedIn challenge. Yesterday was day zero. I really suck at counting. So don't be surprised if you get an extra day or two at the end of here, and that's all right. I've got a few things I want to talk about today, but I promise I will not take much of your time and I will not give you assignments that will take you the entire day. One of the things I want to mention is for the most part, what I will be telling you to do, you can do on a desktop. Some things may or may not be able to be done on a phone. A few years ago, LinkedIn was purchased by Microsoft. And if you know who Microsoft are, they are much more computer people than phone people. So a lot of things in their universe work better on a desktop or a laptop than they will on a phone or an iPad. However, I also think they might have hired some younger people that are into the phone thing, so some things work better on phone. If you're having trouble and pop into here saying, Mary, I'm having trouble with something, please let me know what device you're using it on. That helps me narrow down what the trouble might be a little bit better. We want to make things work, and sometimes you'll have to go to the device that you're not your favoriteest place in the whole world. Hi, guys. But you might have to go to the device that works best for this particular platform, which is LinkedIn. Also, if you have any questions that don't necessarily have to do with how it works on phone or desktop, just pop questions into chats, message me. Any questions that are asked during this 5-day challenge, whether they're personal in a chat, whether you call me, however you ask, I will most likely format that in an answer to everybody that's in the challenge. So today there's two things I want you to think about and one thing I want you to work on. And you will be working on other things will be popping through the LinkedIn timeline throughout the week. The first thing that I will see, that anyone will see when they look at your LinkedIn, whether it's on a phone or on a desktop, the first thing they're going to notice is your banner photo and your profile photo. I do not necessarily expect you to change those today. Most people I know don't happen to have extra headshots sitting around in their back pocket. It's just not a thing people do. But I want you to think about those. I want you to think about what you might want as your timeline photo. I want you to think about when you can maybe update your profile photo or if you need to update it. A general rule of thumb I give for thumbnail photos, profile photos, is they need to look like you look today. They do not need to look like your younger brother looked 5 years ago. Um, you don't necessarily need to glam up. You don't even necessarily have to look businessy, but it needs to look. If I'm walking into a coffee shop to meet you, I want to be able to recognize you from your LinkedIn photo. And that's just a good rule of thumb. It also should not look like an former, this is a good thing, family member did when he was looking for a job. Took a photo that looked very much like the Monday morning after a really great weekend. You don't want it to look like that. You want it to look like you're alert and alive, and you want it to look current. But for today, what I want you to really dig in and think about maybe changing is after you look at the photos, we'll look at the headline later. And then there's your about section. We're not touching that today. Today, I want you to think about your featured section. This is a section very few people make really good use of, and it could be very powerful. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what goes in there. You could put in anything. I've got my speaker sheet in there, which I need to adjust because I realize that as I'm thinking forward and thinking about moving, I might want to adjust that a little bit. So that's what I'm going to adjust. I know people that have in there a link to their virtual coffee. This is really good for people that want to connect with more people and have the time or have their calendars set up such that they can easily take virtual coffee appointments. I know other people that have videos like YouTube videos. You could put a link straight to a YouTube video. We're going to put some cautions in here because recently I was looking at somebody's LinkedIn and they had a YouTube video about year end specials. So when you put something in the featured section, you either want to make sure it's timeless or you want to make sure that you put a note to go back to change it. So the first thing in my personal featured section is the fact that I'm Blueprint Certified Facebook Community Manager. This designation lasts for 2 years before I have to retake the exam. So that gives me plenty of time to go back and look at it. And it's something I want people to know that, yeah, I actually have a piece of paper that says that I am smart in this area. I know other people who may win an award in their industry, and an image of that can be put up there. It's just a place where you want to not only show that you're an expert, but kind of a little bit of proof of concept. For graphic artists, it's a great place to have images. I know a young person that is in the graphics industry. He's in college and he's actually getting jobs. It's really cool. And he's got some good graphic stuff in there. So, depending on who you are and what you're doing, you might want to have something that really pops in your featured section. So the things I want you to think about when you're doing that is, though, who are your ideal clients and where do you want people to end up? What's your overall call to action? The featured section does not necessarily have to be your call to action today. Join my group, get on my email list, but it could be, what do you most want people to know about you? Come back tomorrow. We'll have some new things. But if you go in and you change your feature section today, I'd love you to report on that here in this group, or send me a note, or send me an email, or send me a carrier pigeon if you find one. I want to know what you're doing and how you're making improvements. And thank everybody for listening. This is a little longer of a video. I'm going to be trying to keep them to under 5 minutes for most of the week because I know you are all busy and I very much respect your time. Have a great week and I'll see you tomorrow.